Well, g'day folks. It's one of those rare opportunities where Nzsbk get a chance to interview the commentator Graham Spyda Staples about the up-and-coming season. Now, up-and-coming season, we're already halfway through the season. Technically halfway, we'd have 2 rounds down south, and one of them was at Ruapuna, and then we followed up with Timaru, and this coming weekend we're going to Taupo, and then the final weekend and the final round of the New Zealand SBK is at Manfield in a weekend after, which is the 28th, 29th and 30th of March. So we're just going to have a talk to Spyda. So welcome Spyda, and it's bloody good to have you on the scene again. And while we're doing this, we're actually going to enjoy in a nice little glass of whatever it is, Chardonnay or Pinot Gras or whatever. So meanwhile, we'll get on to Spyda and have a little chat to him. Well, how you going? How you going, mate? You know, it's good. I'm not going to have your Pinot Gras. I'm a bit of Monteith stuff, but boy, am I looking forward to this weekend. It's going to be a pretty good weekend. 600s, man. John Ross is on fire. John Ross is absolutely magic. But Toby Summers, that magic little Yamaha rider from Auckland, he's got some powerful. Just panache about him. He's a wild man on a bike. Come from a motard background in New Zealand, but he's been over the UK before. And don't forget, we've also got Al Hugenbosom. You know, Al Hugenbosom's pretty strong. He's not as strong as he has been in previous seasons after a bad arm injury. And brother James is having some good shows as well. So, you know, we're going to look forward to a good 600cc race. Well, that's great. So who else are you picking there in the 600s? You know, it's been a pretty well hot season at the moment. And bloody umbrella shit. It's been a pretty hot season in the 600cc class, and there's got to be other players there you're looking at, Spyda. What's your more predictions? Oh, I'll tell you who was on fire last year. It was Rhys Holmes. Rhys run a superbike and a 600 a couple of seasons ago, and he was pretty awesome. And last year on the 600s down at Timaru, he picked up a win in the second place, I think. This year he hasn't quite fired. In the Suzuki Series, though, he had a good showing there and was out there in the lead. Unfortunately, he was a bit ill, I think, as well. He had a battery charging problem, so he didn't fire that well. Evelyn Biddle won't be around. I think she's back in the Northern Hemisphere competing in that. But James Hugenbosom, and I tell you what, Jaden Carrick from Whanganui, he can be on fire. He led the race at Timaru. And what a spectacular showing. Unfortunately, Jaden has a bit more crashes than some other people, so Jaden will be up there and has had some good showings at Taupo and definitely at Manfield. He's a specialist at Manfield, so he'll be pretty damn good as well to boot there. So we're looking forward to a good fight amongst all the 600s. Yeah, what about the other classes? We've got some other classes going on there. Flip an umbrella, we'll just get rid of that, yeah. We've got some other classes going on there, and Spyda, I think you've been following the season quite intently. You got any predictions on some of the smaller classes there? Yeah, definitely, mate, definitely. The 250s, Bailey Perriton's been pretty strong. Unfortunately, we won't see Jake Lewis. He's back in the Northern Hemisphere, and Luke Burgess is not returning, but, mate, I would expect them to see. You call him Flight 370. I'd expect them to check out this weekend. Last weekend in the 300cc series over in Australia, he showed us what he was about there. Had a standard rear shock him, where everyone else had the goodies. But young Bailey certainly sort of showed us his business and got out there and did it, and got I think 6 thirds over the weekend at Wakefield Park. So Super Lights is always exciting. Gavin Veltmeyer's pretty well strong. I don't expect Roy de Walker Holt to have it all his own way like he did down the South Island with the return of Dean Bentley from the Lower Hutt area. Dean Bentley on the Stokes Valley Collision Repairs sponsored machine will be back in action again, sidelined early on the season. So he'll be back up there. Sidecars, well, we're going to expect to see Barry Smith and Robbie Shaw to probably dominate with some other teams going to Australia, but there's still, I think, 9 sidecars for the grid. And the 125 GP Championships, young Tyler Lincoln from the Hawke's Bay will be certainly the man to beat out there. James Jarman from Northland is absolutely incredible this season. Had his first couple of wins there, and he's showing that he's got plenty of pace. We'll also see the IDM bikes of Marc Antoinio Jack Way and all that. So that's it, I think, at the moment, and yeah, all good. Oh, that's all good. Well, I guess the blue riband class spider is the Nzsbk clay class. So what do you think is going to happen there? It's anybody's guess almost, although it's pretty well dominated by one man at the moment. And what's your predictions here? Oh, a lot of people know that I am a personal sponsor of Nick Cole and the Red Devil Racing, an amazing team, I think, considering the bike is prepared by the family, and there's a bit of sponsorship behind, certainly not the level of sponsorship of other people, but there's still the tenacity and the ability of Nick Cole. Don't want to play favourites here. Nick's put on a good solid showing, but hasn't quite cut the mustard in terms of getting through the front at the end of the race. I'll tell you what, there's some other people on fire though. Good Mr. Consistency is Nick Cole, but bloody Dennis Charlotte, mate. That Dennis Charlotte is just absolutely awesome this season. You know, he come from ninth on the grid in Timaru, with a bike that wasn't going too well, and come out there and got right into the front there, you know, and that was amazing in the superbike field. Great Sheriffs, mate, great Sheriffs. Yeah, Sheriffs hasn't had a good showing this season. No, Sheriffs has had a bit of bad luck. I think he finished last in one race down south. It just seems to be having trouble with tyres. But when that guy's on fire, mate, he's on fire, and this will probably be his last season. Oh, excuse me, I'm a bit scruffy here at the moment. You know, it is, you know, the way it is. You know, having a couple of man coffees like you do. Sheriffs is absolutely on fire this season. Last season, sorry. This season he can come through. Sloane Frost had that big crash at Wanganui. Sorry about having a beer, but it is late at night, you know. Sloane Frost had a big crash at Wanganui and ended up riding the South Island with a broken wrist, and expect to see him back on fire again on the Fujitsu-sponsored Suzuki GSX-R 1000. Remember, this is one of the best bikes in the paddock. It certainly is an awesome machine. It's the one that Andrew Stroud rode a couple of years ago. Didn't ride it very much after he had his crash. It was sort of sidelined a bit, and he's picked up the... I understand already today, oh, excuse me, a little more choking, that might have started. I understand on his way up from the South Island is James Smith on the Honda CBR 1000. He showed that he can get right through the front of the pack as well. Scotty Moy had his first ever superbike win, pretty bloody outstanding too, because he's got the oldest bike in the field. Scotty Moy had a superbike win down at Timaru, unfortunately crashed in the second race. We got 3 races at Taupo, 5 at Manfield. That's going to be an endurance weekend almost. Scotty Moy is pretty well on fire, and Lyndon McGee, mate, Lyndon McGee on the M1 Motorsport machine, sponsored by Moggy and Tauranga. Hey, hello to the offer switch. The offer switch, you'll see her logo under the arse of, under the arse, I mean that means the back passage or whatever, underneath the bike. The offer switch from M1 Motorsport, you'll see her logo there. She'll be cheering from up home. Lyndon McGee was at one stage at Timaru the fastest man on the track. Hasn't had a great showing this season. Had a big crash at Manfield in the Suzuki series before Christmas, but he went to Taupo the other day and he bet Scotty Moore on his local track. So that shows you, the first time the man's been on the track, how much sort of ability that he's got, and that's pretty well incredible. Oh, that's the Lyndon McGee that had the big crash. Yeah, I was there and I saw that there, and shit, that was an awesome crash. I mean, they did well to repair that bike. Ah, fuck, get these glasses on. Yeah, no, I believe... They told me they rebuilt the bike, but I hear under a secret sort of, well, it's not too much of a secret, especially if I start spouting it on now, that the only thing that they used off the old bike was the tyre warmers. But nevertheless, that is a commitment of M1 Motorsport, and the boys behind there, Joss Mason, she's a magic girl behind the publicity and photography on that. But back to Lyndon McGee, he got the fastest lap down at Timaru on about lap 5 or 6 at the Superbikes this year in the fine weather as well. There was no sort of surprises where he's a wet weather specialist, and he got the fastest lap down there, so that was pretty bloody awesome from him. And like I say, he went to Taupo for a Pacific Motorcycle Club Series meeting the other day and won there, and that was with Scotty Moyer on the track. And you've got to realise that there's a benchmark there, and there was someone else there that was pretty good, but I wasn't there and I can't remember. So who else might be a wild card in the Superbikes? Well, I said the usuals. Craig Sheriffs, Nick Cole certainly will be up there with play all the way. Dennis Charlotte is pretty well, almost unbeatable this season. I've heard rumours it'll be his last season, but Ray Clee can come on strong as well. Ray Clee has had a bit of practice this year, was sidelined last year after a crash down Ruapuna, so yeah, it's going to be pretty hard. Are you going to put any money on it, Spider? You know, have you actually decided to put any money each way, you know, on who's going to win there? Oh, same fucking set of glasses. Oh, no, mate, I've got no money. I've got no money. Who would I put my money on? All I know is it's going to be a champion weekend of motorcycle racing, you know. Don't forget Phil Lovett and Sophie Lovett from Australia. Well, Sophie lives in Auckland now. Sophie's and her father Phil come out here on the ZX10 Kawasaki's and had a damn good showing over the Suzuki Series and the Nationals. Had a bit of bike problems from here to here and motivation problems, or not motivation, just trying to get to the grips with the whole game. And we'll also see young Dylan Telford back out there on the Aprilius RSV4. Don't forget the people that fill up the field, David Hall as well from Te Awamutu. David was a very, very good 600 rider last year and decided to go superbike racing, and so David is going to be out there on the GSXR 1000. Oh, mate, it's going to be a hell of a weekend motorcycle racing at Taupo. I've looked at the weather forecast, and, you know, I mean, they predicted cyclone last weekend. There was no cyclone, but and they're predicting fine weekend this weekend, so hopefully it is fine, and then we look all forward to the weekend after and the action. Don't forget the Pro Twins as well. Sarah Elliott's riding the Pro Twins. Doug Stockwell's always good, and as is Nick Southerwood. He's got to be out there as well. And the 250 class is always good and close racing. It's a shame Jake Lewis isn't out there to sort of show us his consistency and his European Junior Cup winning championship so far, but that's where it's at the moment. I don't know what else. Sidecars should be good. There's a mixture of Formula 1 and Formula 2 machines. Some teams have swapped around between their passengers and riders and passengers because there's a contingent gone to Australia for the Barry Sheen Memorial Race. Now, there's a bit of politics there. Some of them go over there for that. They do happen to bring sidecars back to the New Zealand round of the Barry Sheen Memorial. It's a dual season thing, so that's all going to happen as well in October. So there's a bit of swapsies going on. Shame it clashes with us. And no, I hope that, personally, I hope this weekend that everyone has a good, safe weekend, and that Craig Sheriffs can get rid of his gremlins, because he's had a couple of good wins last year at Timaru, mate. I just about weed my, in fact, I just, it was a little bit of, I think I just about needed a panty lighter for the second race, and just the way he come through on Robbie Bugden in that last race, I weed a little bit, yes, I must admit that, but, back to the 600 class, Toby Summers is going to be on fire. It's going to be Jaden Carrick, maybe as well, no, won't be maybe, sorry, I just lost my train of thought there, but thoughts go out to young Seth Devereaux, unfortunately a training accident, motocrossing or something, or I don't know what he was doing, playing in the shower, but he's broken his neck, and he's okay, he's just up on blocks for a few months looking after, so the Kawasaki Mountain Seth Devereaux won't be around, and yeah, no, it's all good, and yeah, thanks for having a bit of a chat with us. I've got another dozen piss to drink tonight and probably something else to do. I don't know what it is, work on a motorbike, or you know what I might do some night. So yeah, enjoy your night and enjoy your puffy Chardonnay or whatever it is. That's not puffy, I stole it in the girlfriend's bloody thing upstairs, so she doesn't even know I got it, and I don't even, what is it? Oh. It's not bad shit. It'll probably get me tangle-footed up. But thanks, Spider. And we'll see you up the Superbikes this weekend. Don't forget, folks, C-Test live timing. If you can't be there, you're a pufter. But if you can't be there, dial into C-Test live timing, because the bloody show will be on all weekend, and you've got to have a look at that. It's world-class bloody entertainment. And Grant Collingwood from C-Test and Neil Ritchie and Spider will be there commentating. I don't know whether Spider will be behaving themselves. We hope he's going to drink all his piss tonight, but and some of mine, I guess. I see him eyeing up the bottle, but it should be a good weekend, and safe riding, people, and we'll see you there.